going? Alright, it is. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Zach Stell here, back with another talking video. It has been a while since I've sat down and talked to you guys. Well, I guess not super long, it was like a month ago. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some more serious stuff. And kind of the stuff that's kind of been going on in this country recently. No, this isn't really like necessarily political. I mean, it talks about certain things, but not necessarily like opinions, like on sensitive subjects or something like that. So don't worry, it's not going to be something that causes arguments. But as many of you know, especially more so Americans, this country has had, well, really the last 2 years, but especially this year, it has been pretty rough. We have had a record number of shootings. We have had a lot of just high prices on basically anything you can imagine. I mean, gas is $5.20 a gallon now. We have some of the high, I think the highest housing and like rent prices in the history of this country. There's a massive labor shortage. There's just a shortage of lots of. There's a shortage of baby formula. There was, I'm not sure how that is right now. There's a shortage of food. I have gone to stores and there is just shelves ransacked. Not necessarily to the point you got to panic, like it's not like you're going to starve, it's just certain products are be difficult to find. We have a lot of just political unrest right now and a lot of angry people. There's just a lot of stuff going on right now in the United States. And I'm pretty sure, I think it's like 90% of my viewers from the United States. I'm guessing most of you would agree with me on this. I mean, it is a pretty tough time right now. Families can't afford stuff as much anymore, especially the middle class and lower class is getting hit really, really hard. In the lower class, I don't even know, that's just got to be really difficult for them. Stuff's just really expensive right now. We have a very high crime rate. Like, I mean, I know the U.S. has always had some crime stuff, but it is really high the last couple of years, especially this year with the shootings. There are people that are just afraid to go out in public sometimes because you just don't know who's, just with all the shootings that's been going on, they just don't ever know what's going to happen. There is a lot of name calling, finger pointing, and just a lot of anger with a lot of people, it seems right now, and a lot of frustration. And I don't hear necessarily to blame one person or necessarily, but I think there is one thing that is just for certain, or one thing in my personal opinion is I truly think this country has a massive like mental health / anger problem right now. I think we've just, and this all kind of leads to other stuff. I'll get into that in a little bit, but the amount of drug overdoses and suicides and people seeing therapists and is just through the roof, which I'm not saying seeing therapists is bad, but the other two obviously are. I was just reading somewhere the other day that there's been over 1 million overdoses, or we passed 1 million overdoses in like 2021 or 2022 since 1999. And the United States has like 90,000 suicides a year, which is, I saw somewhere there was like a 35% increase. And a lot of this has to do with mental health. I mean, people do drugs because their lives are sad or they have a lot of pain and struggles. People obviously take their lives if you really, really, really are struggling and you just don't, and you're like, don't feel like you can help yourself and no one can help you. which can, depression and doing all that stuff can lead to anger, which people get upset and they just feel like they want to lash out at people, which I think sometimes leads to some of these shootings because people are just so mad and so down the dumps they feel like they don't have anything to lose anymore. I think there are a lot of people that are just not getting mental health help they need. But I don't think I can confidently say that that is 100% true. I mean, I've talked to multiple people over the last week that I've told that to. I just think there's a mental health problem in this country, like a real, it's getting like much, much worse, and they all agreed with me. I mean, suicides, drug overdoses, a lot of these mass shooters end up being really mentally really damaged in the head. And there's just, I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of reasons to be sad and angry. And I listed when I first saw the video, just, it's very hard to live in America right now. It is very high prices. It is extreme record inflation in years. No one wants to work, it seems like, which as expensive as things are, it still seems like no one really wants to work, which is kind of weird. Food is much higher than it used to be. I literally walked into a store a couple weeks ago and Parmesan cheese was in a can for $10 and a bag of Doritos was $6. I mean, stuff just got insane, in which I think a lot of this stuff, this isn't the only thing that causes mental health, obviously, problems, but I think a lot of these frustrations lead to people just getting angry, upset. A lot of people are having a hard time getting by. Saw somewhere a lot of people have been evicted because it's just so expensive right now for rent and mortgages. I don't know if the mortgage is, or basically just everything's expensive. I know rent definitely, and house payments. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if house payments change, like if you own something, but I know definitely rent has gotten more expensive. So I've been reading stories, people just get kicked out of their apartments or house they're renting because it's just expensive. A lot of people just cannot afford stuff, which causes a lot of frustration, sadness, anger. I think just that is contributing to the mental health problem we have in this country. I think there's generally is a lot of mentally sick people that need the help and aren't looking for it or not have the access to it, which is really sad. That's why I want to tell you guys that if you ever see a friend that's like really, really down, and try and be there for them, because it can make a massive, massive difference, even if you just ask them, even if they don't want to talk. Because there is a lot of stuff that is very tough right now, and there's a lot of reasons to be frustrated, anxious, upset about. I saw some stuff I'm not trying to necessarily give a massive political opinion, but there were some people with all the shootings recently that were saying we need to ban semi-automatic weapons, which I'm not here to give my opinion on that or anything, but if you just take out the shootings that happened with semi-automatic weapons, you can still see that there's a massive amount of like shootings with handguns recently, and that crime has just been on the rise in cities. So basically a lot of this has just happened with regular pistols. So why is that? I think a lot of it is a lot of people are angry, a lot of people are upset, people just aren't as patient anymore. I think a lot of people just are just mentally done. I have known, I'm not going to say who for private reasons, but I've known a couple people that lost someone to suicide in the last couple years. I actually know a couple people that know someone that was killed by a gun. It is just, this stuff is, The shootings are a problem. The suicide and mental health stuff is a problem. I think a lot of it has to do with people's mental health. I think we need to focus on improving and lifting people up and trying to help those out in need, especially. I just think that's such a big thing that contributes to so many other factors in a person's life. I understand why people are frustrated right now. I get it. I have been frustrated with stuff too. I deal personally with a lot of anger problems, and I get pretty frustrated and mad. I don't like blow up on people or like cuss at people to say, but I do deal with some stuff, especially during the last year or two. It has not been easy. It seems like we just have a government that just doesn't care about us. Doesn't like people necessarily want to help each other anymore. It's very hard. So I think what I'm trying to get people take out of this is just to try to be there for each other, because there definitely is some problems going on in this country, and I think there's a lot of it stems from mental health, people's well-being, and that a lot of people just aren't in the right mind, and sometimes a lot of times, or no, not a lot of times, but sometimes when people get so down and eventually just leads down this path, they're not getting help. They do some pretty crazy and illegal things. Most people aren't going to do a shooting, no, but it does happen. So we've got to spot signs of people when like they're a drastic change or something just is not right. We've got to try and be there for friends, family, and people just as a whole. So I get it. I get the frustration. I get the anger, anxiety. I understand that. But we got to try to come together as humans and help one each other and get through all this. Because eventually stuff will get better. It may take 6 months, a year or two, but eventually stuff will get better. But the vicious name calling, the bullying, the harassment, the just being jerks to people, that's not going to solve anything. It's not good to do. So I guess that's just all I want to say for this video, guys. Once again, thank you very, very much for watching this video. Yeah, I don't know how long I've been filming this for. It's probably been at least 15 minutes. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that thumbs up. That does help me out a lot. And yeah, I will see you guys the next one. You all take care now.